I know we talked about September, but are you ready for Octo-Bear? Let's go. What's going on, everyone? Jeremy Ritz here. Courage pays better than fear trading, and it is time for a brand new month of trading. Yes, October. It is the bear killer, the month where bear markets bottom, where market corrections dips bottom, setting us up for the best 6 months of the stock market. And in today's video, I'm going to prep you for everything to look forward to in October, the key data points, FOMC meetings, rate cut decisions, all of that and more, so that you are prepared to crush October. All right, everybody, let's jump into it. Let's get into October 2025. We are closing September. We still have a few more days to go in this month, but I wanted to get you prepared for what is coming with all the important dates. And as I said at the start of this video, is typically October continues the weakness that we were supposed to see in September. Now, we didn't get a lot of weakness in September. We are getting some that's coming in here at the end of September, and we'll see if that's going to carry into the month. But keep this in mind, October, while it can be weak, it typically marks the bottom historically of bear markets, market corrections, dips. So you'll potentially see people coming in to buy the market up, setting themselves up for the best 6 months of the market, November through April, and the Santa Claus rally, which I'll do a video on that later this year. But let's jump into it and take a look at October of 2025. And you can see that I have written here the bottom before the best, because typically things bottom here and then we get the nice run. And what is really sweet about October, and this makes me excited, is we have 23 trading days. So 23 opportunities to stack cash, to stack the wood, and to get ready, and also to build positions to potentially catch a nice run heading into November. So let's take a look at October and the data points that we need to be aware of, starting with this first week here. And remember, on this calendar, I point out the days that historically have bullish or bearish sentiment. And so on the first day here, we could see October 1st, we have bullish sentiment. We are going to get ISM manufacturing PMI. So we'll get some insight into the health of the economy. Nothing on Thursday the 2nd, but then on Friday, we're going to get ISM services PMI, which is going to give us more insight into the health of the economy. And most importantly, something that the Fed is paying very close attention to and has been their dual mandate, inflation, the labor market. We are going to get the unemployment rate and non-farms payroll. Now, the reason I really want to emphasize this is because in Jerome Powell's press conference on the rate cut back in September, he talked about how by the end of the year, they're seeing that unemployment rate creep up to 4.5%. So if this number is hot, if it comes in hot, be prepared. We could see a drop. And I always reference the flash crash of August 2024 when things really fell. If that number is high, just keep that in mind, because we could see some weakness come in. But ironically enough, there is bullish sentiment that day. And so first week of October, just 3 days, and then we head into the second week. And I have on here, I always point out when the full moon is, because typically you'll see buying come in, the market pushes up. I know it sounds crazy, but go pull it up. There's an indicator in TradingView for full moon. You do see a push there. Full moon, wolves like bears, maybe not. The 7th, we have bearish sentiment. On the 8th, we're going to get the Federal Reserve meeting minutes. They will be released at 2 p.m. So traders and investors will be parsing those comments to see what that entails for the market moving forward. And then on Thursday, we have bullish sentiment. And then on the 10th, this is an exciting day. You guys know that I love earnings. This is when the big banks are going to start reporting earnings. Now, the dates aren't fully cemented in terms of when big companies are going to be reporting, so I did not include those here on the chart. I have one that is cemented, and I'll talk about that here in a second. But the big banks are going to start here on the 10th, so pay attention to that. We also get Michigan consumer sentiment. So that's going to take care of the first full week in October. And then we move into the middle of the month, and you can see nothing on the 13th, nothing on the 14th, but it's the 15th where we get the big daddy data report, and that is CPI inflation. We know that the market loves to move off of that inflation data. So we'll get the consumer price index, and that is followed by PPI, the producer price index. We'll also get retail sales, so some insight into the health of the consumer. And oh yeah, that just happens to be a bullish sentiment day. And then when we head over to Friday the 17th, we get OpEx, options expiration, in addition to housing starts and building permits. We're going to get some insight into the housing market if we're seeing an uptick there. So pay attention to that on the 17th. And when we break through that middle of the month and we head into the following week, nothing on the 20th. But one date that we do know on the 21st is Netflix earnings. And Netflix has been moving sideways since their last earnings report. It has pulled back. It's been chopping. So is it set up for a move higher? I will have an earnings preview for Netflix, but mark your calendar. That is coming the 21st. That's always a fun opportunity to trade Netflix and take advantage of any type of move that comes out of that. On the 22nd, we have bearish sentiment. I have my little bear over here. And then the 23rd, bullish sentiment. We get more home data, existing home sales. And then we close out that week, the Friday, with another bullish sentiment day. No data there. And then that wraps up the 4th week of October. And then heading into the final week, we are going to have quite a bit of data here. On the 27th, we have bearish sentiment on this day. We're going to get durable goods orders. Nothing on the 28th. The 29th, we get bearish sentiment. We know historically that has been a bearish day, but we're also going to get jolts. So that's jobs data that we want to pay attention to. Mark your calendar. That's going to come out at 10 a.m. And then we're going to get the Fed rate decision. And then we're going to get none other than Papa P coming out and speaking at 2:30. And I wonder if he'll wear a Halloween costume, being that it's October. And I wonder how the market would take that, if they would dump it if he came out in a Scooby Doo outfit. If he was, you know who he looks like? Shaggy, right? I'm going to put a picture of Shaggy. So look, Jerome Powell and Shaggy, are they the same person? I wonder. That would make a good Scooby Doo episode. And then we go over to the 30th, bullish sentiment. We get GDP. And then Friday to close out the month, Halloween, spooky. Oh my, personal spending, personal income, PCE. And that's going to wrap up October. So you're starting to see, if you're watching these videos, we get this data every month, and it's important to know when it occurs. You get a feel of the flow of the market, when things are going to be reported, because things do move off of this. So it's important to be aware of that. And again, if we get any kind of weakness in this month, keep in mind that the markets typically bottom in October, and we see that nice run come out of this into November, the best 6 months of the market. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. What is going to happen in October? Are we going to continue to push higher in this bull run? Are we going to get some continued selling, some weakness? The bears are coming out to play and make it a spooky Octo-Bear? Let me know. I'd love to hear that. Smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you back here to preview November. Can you believe it? Thanksgiving, the holidays, the most wonderful time of the year. I'm so excited. I appreciate your support of the channel. Make it a great day, and as always, honor the moment. Take care, everyone.